Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. Well, Teddy has been bugging me because he's been wanting to go camping. But to go camping, you need some camping gear. And so I'm going to teach you how to make a teddy bear tent, teddy bear fire, and of course, a teddy bear chair. I'm going to start with the tent right now. So for this project, we're going to need some scissors, going to need a ruler, we're going to need a cereal box. This is super important. And we're going to need duct tape. I'm going to be using an X-Acto knife for this. Again, remember, always use an X-Acto knife safely. And it doesn't hurt to have a dry erase marker. I'm also going to have my cutting board just in case. And I've got some pieces of duct tape fabric that I've already made here and some pieces that I've cut over here. But I'll explain those as I go along because you'll figure out that as we get further along is how we figure out the measurements for them. So anyway, so first thing first, what I'm going to do is open up my cereal box. Now to open up the cereal box, what you're going to do is remove everything from inside, open the top, and open the bottom. And to open the bottom, you basically just want to find where that flap is and open it up. Okay, so now it should open, close pretty easily there. It shifts from side to side. What you want to do is find the point where it is glued together. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's the edge. There's the flap. And what we want to do is pull apart at that flap. See where that glue line was and see where that flap is? All right, this is our basic tent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this whole area away, all these flaps. I'm going to keep this piece in the center, and this big piece. This is all going to go away. So I would just start cutting like this. Now you can hang on to those pieces of cardboard because you never know, they might come in handy for other projects. But you're going to cut along that line. The nice thing is that there's lines there for you to follow. Just cut all the way around. Make sure you're getting rid of all of the flaps. And last side. Now, what you're going to do is cover this entire box on the outside with duct tape. Now, the thing about it is this. You don't have to duct tape the inside because nobody really sees it except your stuffed animal. However, if you want to cover both sides, you can. Now, this is the most important thing. When you cover the ends, there's a special little technique so that you can make sure that you get all of the end covered. So you take a piece of tape, and you're going to lay it over in this case, because I want to get it over the edge, I'm going to just lay it so it's half on, half off. I'm going to flip it over here. Now, what I'm going to do is with my scissors, I hope you can see this, I'm going to make a little teeny notch right here at the edge. See, I made an angular notch. See that? A little angular notch there. And I make a little angular notch here. So that these edges fold over like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this, hopefully you'll be able to see this little extra flap? I just want to get rid of it. I just want to cut like a little triangle right here at the edge. So I'm just going to cut a little piece there and a little tiny piece there. They're so tiny. If you had more of an overlap of tape, you would see it a little easier. Okay, now I just fold this down, flip it over, and fold this to the front. And now I've sealed the end. And now I'll come back with strips of tape I just want to make sure it's slightly bigger than my box. Make sure you overlap, just like when you're making fabric. Lay it on, fold it under. And you want to keep doing that for the entire length of your box. I'm going to skip ahead here. I've already done that. Now, the big thing and the most important thing here is this seam, because this seam is where it's going to naturally want to bend. So this is the only piece on the back that you actually need. So I'm going to measure so that it's just inside there. And now here's where I'm going to need my X-Acto knife and my ruler. See this seam from seam to seam here? I want to measure this. In this case, it's 2 inches from seam to seam. What I'm going to do is take my little marker and mark 1 inch. Do the same thing down here. Mark 1 inch. I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to lay it along those 2 marks. And now what I'm going to do is, not using the sharp point, I'm going to use the dull side. And I'm going to draw a line from end to end. What I'm basically doing here is called scoring. I'm not cutting, I'm scoring. I've made a mark, and this mark now will fold exactly in half, like that. Now, if you remember, I said we'd be needing a piece of duct tape fabric, but I said we'd wait to figure out what the size is. Well, this is why. Because we want a piece of duct tape fabric that's going to go right in here. This is a triangle. You see this? It's a right-angled triangle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here to here. And I get 8.5. So I want a square of duct tape fabric that is 8.5 inches. I've already made that for myself, but if I hold this up here, you should see how that could fit right in there perfectly. Now, the reason I made a square is because my tent has 2 sides for its flaps. So what I'm going to do is take my perfect square, 8.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to fold it like a triangle. And I'm going to crease this. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut right along that crease. Now I'm going to want my flap to open. This is very important. And so what I'm going to do is fold this again in half and cut down the center. Now I want to make sure that I keep these the way they go. Do the same thing with this one. This one goes there, that one goes there. These are going to become the flaps of my tent. See? Flap and flap. Whoops. Flap and, oh goodness, it's hard to see. Okay. Here, let me do it this one. Flap and flap. There you go. So what I'm going to do is open this up and lay 1 triangle this way and 1 triangle this way. Push it forward here so you can see. Now I'm going to be using some accent tape here. I'm going to line these 2 points up right at that fold, where that fold is. And I'm going to be using some accent tape that I've already pre-cut. And I've cut these into strips that are 1 inch wide. I'm going to lay this right at that edge there where that point is. Half on, half off. Okay, when I get to the bottom here, I'm just going to cut this. And on the other side, half on, half off. Do the same thing. just line it up with my box. Lay it down. This is a tiny bit short. I'm also a tiny bit off there. There we go. So let me just get a little bit more. Rip that extra bit off. There we go. Now I'm going to flip this over. And these little edges, I can just fold down. Fold down one edge there. Ah, see, there's a little teeny tiny, I can see here, there's a little teeny tiny bit of misfire here. You can easily change it, easily fix it from this side. There you go. Fold that edge over, and that edge over. Over here, we do the same thing. Fold this edge over, this little edge over. And now I'm going to seal the back here. Lay that flat in. I would repeat this on the other side as well. Show you in just a sec. Lay this down. Rip it there. Lay that piece down. Lay that piece down. And so see, when you fold this up and you fold these pieces down, you have the entranceway to your tent. Now, just so you know where it is, I'm going to add a little piece of tape here and a little piece of tape here for accent. This I'm going to do half on, half off, as I always do. Half on, half off. Right here. And fold it over, fold it over. We can do the same thing on this side. And this side. Again, this is just really for embellishment to show you where the flap openings are. Fold that end over. This one's going to need another little extra piece here. And fold that over. And there you can see. Now you can see where your entrance is for your tent. Now, the one thing, I'm not going to put the other side on just because I want to get to the next piece here. That is that we don't want it to slide open like that. We want our tent to stay nice and secure and in its tently position. So what I'm going to do is make some straps. And for these straps, what I basically have done is taken 16 inches of tape and laid one piece down, sticky side up, and then laid another piece down on top of it to make a nice strap. Just going to take this strap, lay it right here, and secure it in place. But before I do that, I'm going to show you an easy way to do this strap if you haven't done straps before. Because that's one thing that can be a little tricky and sticky. Okay, my piece of tape is all messed up there. Scott will cut it. So you have your piece of tape, and you put it sticky side up. Now, this is where it can get hard for people, but what I normally like to do is just take my second piece of tape, hold it in my fingers really tight, and just lay it down after I line it up. And I hold it in my fingers really tight. And I balance it over there until I've got it pretty solidly lined up. And then I gently lay it down and smooth it down. Now, you're going to see there's a tiny little bit of extra there. And all I'm going to do is just take my scissors and trim. And you just trim. Now, you're going to need to trim on both sides, because if there's sticky on one side, it means there's a little sticky on the other side. So, you got one side here and one side here. This one has a little sticky, so I'm just going to flip it over and use that little sticky edge to hold it in place right there. And this one doesn't have a sticky edge, so I'm just going to hold it in place with my fingers here. And now I'm going to take a piece of my accent tape. Measure it out. Lay it right down on top. Like that. And secure it. Just lay it right down on top like that. Now I'm going to fold this. Okay, here's my straps. They're going to come around to this side here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my first piece, which is my accent tape here. I'm going to lay that accent piece down. And now what I'm going to do is create the place where the straps go through. For this, what I'm going to do is take some duct tape and do a fold over strip. I have done this so many times, and I'm hoping that you have seen this. But you just fold it up once, fold it over again twice, like that. Cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut this in half straight down the middle. Cut this one in half straight down the middle. All right. Pull these, might as well pull these all the way through. So lace flat. Okay, I'm going to take strap number 1, strap number 2, and just lay them top of each other just like that. Take a little piece of tape, secure them in place. Take a piece of tape, secure them in place. I use this closure all the time. I call it a double tongue closure because it's going through 2 straps. Okay, take a little piece of tape on this side. And another piece of tape on this side. Okay, now when you pull this down like a belt strap, you can adjust how high and how wide you want your tent. So there you go. Make it that wide. And there's a little extra over here. I'm just going to snip that. But the other great thing about these straps is that if you want to, when you're all done and you want to put this away so that you can clean up your room, just pull your straps up like that. And this can go in your bookcase. And now all we need is Teddy. I think he's ready for bed. What about you? I think we'll take off Teddy's hat. Teddy, you want to go check out your new tent? Ooh, how is it in there? Ooh, very nice. For more fun ideas for your bears, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.